4, 3, 2, 1. The home of air. Nothing. What did you doing? All right, and now a word from our sponsor.
Previously on Superbud. Danny, a heartbroken college dropout, decides to smoke his troubles away one weekend. Little does he know, the weed he buys is actually an experimental strain of marijuana that was smuggled out of a lab by a small-time drug dealer who has been selling it to everyone in Emerald Oaks, giving them all superpowers. Will Danny and his friends become the heroes their town needs, or will it be destroyed by the effects of Superbud?
What's up, George? What's going on today?
Today, we're live again with another Kickstarter. And our guest is Dwayne Robinson, and his Kickstarter is Nightfall, coming up next.
Let's get it.
We are the only show for independents all around, giving you a platform to spread your word all over town. Catch the Craze is the place to promote to your fans with the dream of Medina and Sam the Crazy Man. Subscribe to our show and never miss an episode. It's time to get your mans, listen to us on the go. Updated every week, we never miss a day. Join the squad, come on in. It's time to catch the Craze. If you are an independent, catch the Craze. Making moves on your own, catch the Craze. On your grind in the streets, catch the Craze. Join the movement, catch the Craze.
Yeah, George, we did it again. Come on now. You know you want to do it. Catch the Craze.
Welcome to the Catch the Craze podcast. I am your host with the most, Sam the Crazy Man Vera. And I am with
George the Dreamer Medina. What's happening, Sam?
What's happening? What's happening?
Woo! Yes, indeed. Yes,
Boom.
indeed. We are live once again. We have another Kickstarter show.
Yes.
And today our guest is Mr. Dwayne Robinson. He is of Animation Comics and Entertainment LLC. And he's got a book called Nightfall that we will be talking to him about. It's a Kickstarter that's on right now. Michael's Awakening, number 1 and 2. A normal college quarterback is told the truth by his mother about what lies within him. So sounds interesting. Sounds very, very interesting.
Yes.
You know, Dwayne, I think, you know, the industry or this industry is very small, much like anybody will say about any other industry. And so it's funny because Dwayne was on a show that you were on promoting Forbidden, and
right.
He was on the show promoting his Kickstarter. So it's funny how our paths have crossed, or well, your paths have crossed already. He actually hit me up, I believe, Mark Torres, big shout out to It Came From the Radio. He was the one that kind of linked them up, and he sent me a message, say, hey man, I got a Kickstarter, can I promote it on your show? I said, yo, sure enough. And here he is.
Yes, I think I got to call get order protection.
So thank you everyone for joining us again today live. If you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel, hit the reminder button there so that you are always kept abreast of all the shows we are doing. We are doing a lot of live shows recently, been helping out a lot of Kickstarters, and we actually have a Kickstarter right now that we need some help on.
Yes.
So let's talk about that a little bit. Sam, what you got?
And you know, instead of talking about it, let me just hit the trailer.
Oh yeah.
I created Forbidden back in 2000. In 2005, it was well received by critics and fans alike at Comic-Cons and local stores. My goal for Forbidden was to create an epic fantasy tale that would last for generations. I recruited a local artist, Anibal Arroyo, who took the helm on illustrating the first 2 issues, and only 2 issues back then. After over a decade in limbo, it was time to finish Forbidden and reintroduce it to the world. Deep within the Earth's core lies a race that has existed for thousands of years. A race who are forbidden from walking the surface of the Earth due to a curse cast upon them by the evil known as Nokron. Centuries later, the world has evolved, and so has Nokron, in the form of David Hunter, a billionaire whose intention is to dominate the globe. Legend has it that one day the Son of Vox will rise from the ashes of the Earth to destroy all that Nokron has built. And that could never happen.
It's a Kickstarter extravaganza. We started off with our sponsor, Super Bud, and we're featuring Dwayne tonight on the show. He's gonna come on in a little bit. He's running a little behind, but he'll be on the show. And we're trying to promote Forbidden, which has 8 days left on the campaign. We're trying to get into as many hands as possible. I'm hoping that the trailer was enough for you to get a good idea of what Forbidden's about. And I know you all have a lot of options. Believe me. Every day I'm seeing all these campaigns coming up, and I see all these talented creators out there, and I get, and we all have a limited budget. I take risks with a lot of people I've never heard of, just because I look at the content, I look at the detail work, and I try to support their passion. So I'm asking that you support my passion. We have 8 days left. We'd love to break that stretch goal. I'd love to have more than 50 backers. We're at 33 backers. We've been at a stalemate for a little bit. I thank everybody who's pledged. I thank everybody who got us past it, funded in 2 hours. I thank everybody who's contributed to the 33. We appreciate you. But there's an incentive for you digital backers at $10 and up. So if you're a digital backer and you can only come up with $10, if we hit the 50, you will get the Forbidden Darkness card in the mail. And that's something that I'm doing as an incentive. Hola, Krista Joy. And that's something we're doing as an incentive just to hopefully entice you to want to take a risk. If you can't do 10, there's the $5 digital where you get the issue 0, the one that we launched on Indiegogo. Take a chance on issue 0, read it. You'll want to get issue number 1. So I'm hoping that you support Forbidden.
Yeah, too late, Chris. You already supported. Too late for the twerking. Too late. It's been a interesting 21 days, 22 days, I should say, of the campaign. We were funded 2 hours. Boom. It happened quickly, and
then we hit a wall.
It's interesting. But Sammy's been doing his thing. He's been out there promoting. He's been on plenty of shows. Thank you to all of the shows that have had Sam on there talking about the product. You still have a few more coming up, don't you?
A few more what?
Shows. As a matter of fact, you got
one
tonight.
Tonight I'm gonna be. I'm sorry. I'm like, what you talking about, huh? Tonight I'm gonna be on Russ Explode at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 8 p.m. Central. So check me out on Russ Explode. Tomorrow I'll be on Get in Tune with Michael Gracia, and on Friday I will be on Atomic. Check the link. Quandary. I forgot the name of the thing. Lies. There is never too late. Oh man, George, you messed up. You done messed up.
Forbidden character. Wow. That's a hard pass for me, dog. Sorry, Crystal. Yo, big shout out to Crystal, man. Crystal's on our show all the time, supporting. Thank you very much, Chris. And actually, I wanted to take this time out also to, if there are any artists who may be watching the stream or maybe watching the show after the stream, you're going to have to hit this young lady up because she's got a story that she needs an artist for. So if there are any artists out there that are interested in doing some artwork for an indie writer, then you hit Crystal up. And Chris, just let me know where you want them to send you any information so that we can make that happen. But yeah, Sam, so Forbidden's on right now, live on Kickstarter. 8 days left, 33 backers. It's already been funded, so it's coming. It's coming out. Now it's a matter of getting those stretch goals. And at 50 backers, well, what's the 50 backer stretch goal?
The 50, it's 50 backers. The stretch goal is 50 backers.
No, but what do they get?
It's on the screen right now. So I'm glad you asked.
Snap.
So I have it on the screen right now. I'm going to cover my, oh, that's the wrong side. I got to change that side. What are you doing? What are you doing, son? Let me change that one. So I have, why do you keep going there? So you have the darkness card. And where's the front? There it is. I enabled the back front and the front back. So here it is. So here is the rear of the card, and it's David Hunter in human form, and you can see his extension form as Nokron, and then you have the creepers in the caverns. You have a little bio of the creepers. This is limited. This is all 50. If we get to the 50 backer goal, all backers at $10 and up will get this.
Nice. Look at that. Damn, that guy looks creepy, bro.
Right?
He looks creepy as all hell.
Right? Yeah.
Wow.
So let me move this up. Bang. There it is. Bang. Look at him. He looks crazy. His name is David Hunter. He hunts souls. But yeah. So this is my way of saying, hey, digital backers, I see you, I appreciate you, and you're gonna get something in the mail. So if you can help me get to the 50 backers, again, I look at how many readers are reading it versus the monetary level. I'm looking at how many people I can get this book into the hands, because hopefully you become fans and you follow us through the next 4 issues after this.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And let me tell you something. As somebody, and I'm not just saying this because I know Sam, but as somebody who read the book, who's read the book, it is a very good book. It is very well written. So it's not just the artwork. You know what I mean? The artwork is beautiful, but it's not just the artwork. You know, they always say, I like to say, the artwork will buy you the first issue, but the story will keep you coming back for more. And if you guys give this a shot, just based on the images, once you read that story, you're going to keep coming back. And there's plenty of story, 168 pages. The second, the book that is on Kickstarter right now is 27 pages, but as a whole, the story is about 168 pages long. So there is a lot of story.
And
so
what you're guaranteed,
out.
if you become a supporter of Forbidden, you're guaranteed to get all 6 issues with every campaign, because the project is done. I'm not waiting for the artist. I'm not waiting for George to finish lettering it, because George Medina lettered it, and the colorist has already finished coloring issue 3, and she's almost done with issue 4. So, by the time we get to the 4th issue on Kickstarter, the whole series is completed. And then the final one will be the graphic novel. And so you know that you're going to have a consecutive follow-up with us. You're not going to worry about it ending and we disappeared and we couldn't finish another book. It's done. And so that's what I'm excited about. And so there's a lot of chatter going on back there. So let's see. They can send it to Krista. I have 100,000 emails in my... Wow. And yes, I should clean it out, but that would be no fun. OMG. George, he looks like one of our classmates in the honors class we took at Mercy Claus. The one wanted to become a chiropractor, had fangs. Oh, nice.
Yeah, there was a guy that looked just like Hunter. When we went to school together, but
nice.
But yeah, no, anybody interested in sending those emails, it's kristajoy730@gmail.com. So any artists out there, but yeah, no,
Joy,
dude,
pump it up, and pain. Yeah. Keep it going now.
Yeah, no, man, that the Kickstarter for Forbidden, it's like you said, it's already done, it's completed. There's no waiting games here.
No.
You're not waiting for anything to come to you. As soon as the money comes in from Kickstarter, which takes about 2 weeks after the campaign ends, Sammy's on that. He just jumps on and starts sending stuff out.
Yeah,
so there is no waiting.
I don't play. You're the most important person in my life at the time, and customer service is one of the things, and they equate it to my experience in retail. You always make the customer the center of attention. I'm not getting that right now as I'm trying to secure a home. I'm not getting any kind of customer service from anybody. People, I don't know what happened.
Stress.
People just lost the art of hospitality. But with the craze, you're going to always be number one. We're going to try to get everything as fast to you as possible, because that's what's important to us.
That's right. And if you guys have already pledged to the campaign, thank you very much. Share it. Hit that share button on there. Tell all your friends about it. The more, the merrier. That would be great if you guys did that. We're at 1557, 33 backers. Now, here's the thing, right? People may say, but you already made the goal. What's the big deal? Well, here's what happens. So as soon as the campaign ends, Kickstarter's going to have to take a fee. They take a percentage of what was made, as well as, because they don't charge the cards until the campaign ends, a lot of times, sometimes, or more, I will say a lot of the time, you will get some cards that get declined for whatever reason. Maybe you changed your bank, you lost your card, you stopped it in those 30 days. Whatever it is that happened in those 30 days, they can't take those funds. And eventually, if you don't, fix that within a week, they drop that pledge. So right now it looks like there's $1,557 in there. But by the time the fees come out, and if anybody drops out, we may be getting less. And at that point, that's when it gets a little hairy, because those USPS fees are a lot of money. Shipping these things costs a lot of moolah.
Plus, George, to get George to twerk, every dollar goes to cure his viejoism.
Viejoism.
I was gonna say vjoism.
By Joyceum. What the hell's by Joyceum? What is that?
Yeah, I see that our guest is early in the waiting room.
Oh, he made it.
Yeah, he made it. Looks like he made it. Yes.
All right.
So, do you want to bring in our guest, or you want to bring him in?
Let's
All right.
do it.
So, before we bring in our guest, we're going to remember, if you have a campaign, it's important that you promote early. And what a better way to promote than with?
Do you have a Kickstarter campaign and you're trying to figure out how to get the word out? You look online and you see the competition is fierce. Comic-Cons are slowly coming back, but in the meantime, how do you spread the word? You worked for hours creating your campaign. You post on as many social media sites as possible, trying to get the word out, to no avail. Well, look no further. Why not sponsor an episode of Catch the Craze Podcast, the fastest growing indie podcast in the market today? That 30-second promo can get you an extra 2 to 3 backers or more. Who knows? Let's go. Hit the link below and get one step closer to a successful campaign.
All right, we're bringing him in.
Right.
Dum. What's up, buddy?
There he is. All right.
Can you hear me?
I can
Yes,
hear you
sir.
now. You made it.
Yeah.
Did you break any laws on your way home? Running your red lights on your way home?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Can you hear us, Dwayne?
I can hear you, yeah.
You can't hear me?
Can you hear Sam or no?
No, he's kind of low.
Oh.
I'm low. What about now?
You low.
How about now?
Oh, no, he just stepped off. But anyway, until he comes back, this is Dwayne Robinson, and we're back with Catch the Craze. We're going to be talking to him about Nightfall. So, Dwayne, what's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm all right, man. Just, speed beaming it a little bit so I can make it on time.
That's what Sam was saying. Did you break any laws while making it on the show? I'm glad you made it safe, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you
Safety,
hear me?
but, a little fast. But
How about? Are you able to hear me now, Dwayne?
Dwayne, can you?
is he still? Oh, no, he's not talking. Okay.
Yeah, I think you're still low. I think, Sam. Can you?
How about now? Can you hear me now? What?
Uh-oh.
¿Qué pasó?
You hear me though, right, Dwayne?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. All right.
What? Bloody hell!
Yeah.
Like, I can hear you saying bloody hell, but it's whispering it to me. if I get real close to my computer, then it's like, yeah, okay.
Oh,
All
that's
right.
weird. That's heck, man. But anyway, while Sam gets his audio fixed there. So Dwayne, yo, good meeting you. Finally, I know you hit me up on the messenger and say, yo, dude, I got this Kickstarter. Can I promote it? And here you are. So thank you for reaching out to us and coming on the show and talking to us about your project. Appreciate that, man.
Thank you for having me. I do appreciate it. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's always nice to talk to other creators and help promote my own stuff as well.
Absolutely, man.
Oh, you're here to promote something?
It was just coming to say hello.
I just want to talk to you guys.
I thought we were splitting recipes or something.
We're all New Yorkers, so it's
yeah, there you go.
Right.
do how New Yorkers do.
Exactly.
So you're based out of Brooklyn, right? Dwayne, you have Animation Comics and Entertainment LLC, and we're gonna talk about Nightfall. But let's before we even start talking about Nightfall, let's talk a little bit about yourself. Tell us a little bit about who Dwayne Robinson is. Give us your backstory, all the way back to your origin. Talk to us about that.
Well, it started in a dark and stormy night. No.
Oh, you're a writer, son.
Yeah. You gotta start off with a little epicness, but no. So yeah, my name is Dwayne Robinson Jr. I have my company, Animation Comics Entertainment LLC, along with my brother, Terrence Young. He's not my flesh and blood brother, but I knew him since high school. And so we always kind of had like these ideas of making our own stories, because we know the harshness of like really trying to get signed to a company. And then, when you get signed finally, there's so many limitations and red tape that you have to go through just to make a real good story. You know what I mean? Sometimes you want to push the envelope, even though it may seem a little controversial, but sometimes it could be in a good way. Yeah. So, we was just like, all right, well, we should just do it ourselves. And, we didn't have any knowledge of really trying to do it. I just went on YouTube, read a couple of books, and like, all right, I think I kind of got the hang of this, and I'm also the artist. So, that was another thing that kind of helped us get us a little further ahead, because, you don't have to like go on a search to find an artist, even though we did eventually find a colorist, because I felt like that was really important, even though I'm the penciler and inker, I felt like you should have a little somebody that has more experience, professional with colors and stuff, because I can do colors and I'm not the best, So
I hear you.
Well,
I got the same
what
problem.
It's the time, right? So like you're trying to draw it and you're trying to get it out on time. Coloring is just going to add to more stuff that you have to do. So it's easier kind of just to divvy up the work and say, okay, he's going to do that while I'm doing this. And
I mean, that was one of the things that I was really kind of nervous about, because I have trust issues, so I was like, man, what if I send him this and he goes away and then I never see him, and then how am I supposed to see him? No one will know that I have my stories, so I was saving every message, screenshotting that, having the whole portfolio of every message I ever sent him, like, yeah, you ain't taking my stuff. I'm from Brooklyn. I'll find you. You know what I mean? But we really lucked out with John. John is a really good. He's also a good artist as well. And so when I sent him the inks and things, and I would tell him at first, like, okay, this is the color we're gonna go with, and then after a while, now I can just send him my inks, and then he'll be, all right, I know exactly what you want. And when he sends it back, I'm like, man, this is awesome. This is awesome. So it's a great working relationship. But another one of the things that I want to do for the company is grow and help others as well with their stories, and artists as well. I want to. It is a publishing company. It's not just me and my brother, doing all the stories. That's not the ultimate goal. I want to also help others that have stories as well.
I got you.
Nice.
When did you start drawing, man? Like, how did the love for art
I always
start?
kind of was really good at drawing faces, and I never really took it too seriously. It was always something I kind of wanted to do. Originally, you guys probably won't even believe this, but my first goal, originally before I started a company, I was trying to be a part of a rock group. I was
Nice.
the lead singer, and I used to play the guitar.
Oh, snaps.
Guitar. And my brother, he always had like these stories that he was always telling me about. And, I was like, yeah, it's cool. But then as those things with the whole rock group started to kind of flake out, you know, he was still talking about it. And I was like, you know, I don't know what I want to do. I have no real purpose because I want to do that. And I put so much hard work into that. And then it didn't really fall out. And I was just like, man. And I was like, you know, I like this story, you know. And then we always, you know, living in New York, there's tons and tons of things that's always happening, you know. But, you know, we used to always like, man, we should write something. But by that time, in between those times, actually, I was still drawing because I wanted to do the artwork, you know, covers for the group, the band.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so I was really starting to really get better at it. And then I had a friend who was just phenomenal. Unfortunately, he passed away. And but he really helped me to get like the anatomy done and really focus on that and really helping me try to find my own style, you know, because for me, I like to draw a little bit more realistic characters, even though some of them are very fantasy-like, but I'm not like too much of a fan of the Rob Liefeld way. It's like big, bulky guys, and they got their biceps this big, and their calf muscles this big, and their necks and their traps is like this, and they got huge guns. Not my style. It looks good. I'm not saying it doesn't look good at all, but you know, that's not my style. I wanted to make all of the characters really realistic. Like they could be someone that you know, when it's like human characters, someone that you can meet outside. And that's kind of what I wanted to do with the story with Nightfall, is that all of the characters are really, they have a human side to them, even though they're not quote unquote human.
Yeah. You know, it's funny how the correlation between art and music. We've interviewed a lot of artists who like you know, visual artists who also either played the guitar or were in, you know, sang, or even, I mean, Sam was in a rap group, bro, like back in the days. He won't tell you that, but he used to be, you know, back in a rap group back in the day. So that the correlation between the two things. So your first love was music, or was it art, or how did that, like, growing up as a kid in Brooklyn, like we're in White Rock?
Child, for me, you know, I would say I had a lot of time on my hands, you know. So I would say that it's a little bit of both. You know, 1 minute, maybe an hour or two, I would watch, you know, some of the whole Fox lineup, you know, the X-Men, the Spider-Man, you know, Batman, the whole lineup. And then when that's done, I would go outside and play basketball with my friends. And then while we were playing basketball, music is being played. And, you know, so I had a kind of like an all-around type of, you know, background. So it was always something I was always kind of like interested in. You know, if I didn't try it or knew about it, you know, one of my friends was doing it. I was like, oh, that you want to try it? Yeah, let's do this. You know, I always kept like kind of an open mind to pretty much anything, you know. So, but I would say, yes, it's kind of like both, you know, it really is.
I got you.
Nice. So, talk about where you grew up and the influences from the neighborhood. What were some of your influences in the block? You really can't hear me?
My speakers is it's like all the way up right now. I don't know. It's weird because I heard you the other day on Sunday. But,
really? Can you hear me now? I don't want to yell.
Okay. Wait. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, somewhat.
Okay, so what were your influences in the neighborhood, in the where you grew up? Well, what were some of the things that inspired you from the neighborhood?
Living in Coney Island has always been a little bit of a what's the word I'm thinking of? Different. Let's just use different. Because you know you have the beach, and then you have the tourists, and you see people from all colors and creeds, but then you also have, you know, living in the environment that I lived in, there were also things that, you know, you could either learn from, or you could either, you know, dive more into that and get yourself in some trouble. So for me, my mother understood where we were living, and she always used to try to take me out and create that curiosity to learn and want to try to do things outside of where I was at. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I still was outside, you know, but, you know, there were times I was like, all right, I shouldn't do that because I know what's going to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get to a certain age, you know, and then, you know, it's like, all right, it's enough of that craziness. So for me, I think I was really just inspired by the people around me that like kind of, you know, helped give me advice and things. I will always kind of cling to older people, you know, so those people really kind of helped me and inspire me to not also be afraid to think outside the box. You know, me being a guy from Brooklyn, Coney Island, there's not too many guys that, you know, really listening to rock music and things like that, you know, or just kind of nerd culture. I wasn't afraid to tell people I listen to anime. What's up? You know what I mean? A lot of my friends, they were like, man, you know, you gotta tell him. I'm like, nah, that's my friend. I don't care. You know, so I think it helped me really in a lot of ways to just really be bold and not be afraid to try new things. And I think that's what kind of helped with the Nightfall story, you know, because it's a story, in my opinion, you know, at least, I feel like it hasn't really been seen in this kind of format, this kind of storytelling where the main character is a person of color, of course, but that's not really the focus of the story. You know, it's not like he's like a black guy living in, you know, white people hate him or anything like that. It's just like, you know, he just happens to be a person of color. But the main thing is that it's a werewolf story that takes place in present time, and it's in an urban community. It's not like in the woods. Usually when you see werewolf stories, they're like in secluded areas, you know, or they're in a huge castle, or it's, you know, some type of, you know, kind of dark or gothic kind of area. But Michael is just a normal college quarterback, you know what I mean? And his mother just comes in and tells him the truth about what lies within him, and all craziness ensues. But so for me, that really, I think, helped me to just be fearless about whatever I'm doing and have the confidence behind it to just say, all right, you know, this is definitely different, but you know, like I'm not gonna be like, well, maybe I shouldn't do that, you know, because I personally feel that there's an audience for everything.
Right.
You know, whatever this type of story it is, whether it be something new that's never really been seen, of course, that's going to gravitate to more people. But, you know, if you're telling a story about, you know, a guy that likes to draw a stick figure, there's going to be someone that's going to like that. Like, hey, you know, I like stick figures too. I want to see what he's talking about. Right. You know, because I've literally seen it myself. I've seen stories and I'm just looking at it and going, all right, okay, that's the story. And then people would clam to it and go, man, look at this, look at it. Right. So, you know, I think it's good to just have that open mind when it comes to writing.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think there is definitely an audience for everyone. You know, there's always room for everybody and to tell their own stories and different stories. I like the spin you've taken on this story, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the story, but I love the fact that you've incorporated a few things into the story, right? You have your college quarterback, right? So you have the sports side of that. So I'm a big sports fan. I would dig that, right? Because I'm like, oh shoot, let me read that. You have the werewolf aspect of it, right? And then you have it in you know, he's a black quarterback, you know, he's in the modern world. Like, you have all of these things combined. Where did the idea for the story come from?
I think the whole football aspect of it was a little bit of my introduction to kind of really start doing Easter eggs, because the first issue of Nightfall there's a lot of Easter eggs, especially in the first couple of pages. I wanted to do something where when you're reading the story and someone wants to ask me questions about it, or they're just reading it as a whole, there's a lot of things in there that can talk about my personality, who I am as a person. So one of the first things, of course, would be that, oh yeah, I'm a sports fan. I mean, I love football, I love basketball. I used to play football, baseball. I still play basketball when I get a chance, you know. I'm not as fast as I used to be, but I can. And, you know, and so also that I'm actually an anime fan. I love anime. I've been watching anime since before I was a teenager. You know, my stepbrother, first anime I ever seen was an anime called Fatal Fury. And so I saw that, and then from there I went on to, you know, of course, watch Dragon Ball Z. And then, you know, it just took off from there. So one of my favorite animes, though, is an anime called Trigun. And the main character, his name is Vash the Stampede. In Nightfall, the main character's last name is Vash. And there's a part in the football scene where the announcer is talking, and he goes, Ken Vash and the Stampede, which is his college team name, Ken Vash and the Stampede win this game. So that's like a really good small Easter egg. There's also another one where Michael's talking to his star wide receiver. The wide receiver's name, his nickname is called Ace. Ace is the name of my company, Animation Comics Entertainment, or Ace for short.
Right.
So, these are things that, I just kind of really wanted to subtly show in there. And, it's a good topic to talk about when we're doing interviews or, people asking me questions. I have a few people ask me about the Bash name. And, I was like, yeah, because I love Trigun. Like, I love Trigun too, so these things are good things to kind of like, easily transition into a nice little conversation. But the last one I will say when it comes to that whole football scene atmosphere is the call count that Michael calls. He says 310, 310. 310 is actually my brother's birthday.
Okay. All right. So a bunch of little Easter eggs.
There's a lot more. There's a lot more, but I feel like if I tell everyone, all of them, then it won't be an Easter egg. That's
right. You got to figure it out for yourself.
Right.
So,
some of them are like I said, some of them are really like just right in your face. But those are the ones that I always like to kind of tell people because it gives them like, oh, I probably wouldn't have seen that if you didn't tell me, So those are the ones that I like to tell people because it's a good, way to show that, I care about my friends and I care about my family. Right. Yeah. One last one I will tell you though, this one isn't actually an issue too. And so as you know, I said my colorist, his name is John Cruz. There's a scene where there's an introduction of the new character, Lucius Vash, who is actually the main villain in this whole story in the series. He's having a conversation with a guy named John, and the conversation doesn't go very well for John. And it was a small little joke between me and my colorist, like sometimes, we're just joking around and I'm like, man, I'll just throw you out the window. So
so I can imagine what happens to John.
Exactly.
So now
that was just a little nice
funny
Easter egg between us, people that work within the company. But there's a few more.
No, good stuff. Because I said, Sam had a question. If you want to ask me,
I'll
Sam,
ask you because
I'll give it. Let's see.
I don't know. Let's see. I'm gonna put this louder. So now, basically, what you're saying is, when the body disappears, as a forensic investigator, I can use your comic book to tie you to the scene.
Sorry, Sam, I'm trying.
Jack, that was some good stuff.
I tried.
I'm sorry. I'm not.
Continue, Judge.
Don't hate me.
That is hysterical, dude. So Dwayne, so who how do you split the duties? So do you write the story? Does your partner write the stories and then you draw them, or do you guys both have equal input in the writing? Like how does that happen?
The Nightfall story is my own. I wrote
it's
that.
all you.
Yeah, that's my story.
All you. Nice.
My brother, he has his own story called Salvation.
Okay.
And I do the artwork with that. But I give a little pointers and little constructive criticism. But
gotcha.
Overall, it's still his story. I don't want to take anything away. I give him ideas, like I said, but it's his own idea. I don't want to change it in any way. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I would do if I hired other writers and creators. I would give them hints and some ideas, but I would never take away from their own story because I don't want my interpretation of their story. Right. I want their interpretation of the story.
Nah, that makes sense. So, yeah, that makes sense. So let's talk a little bit about the Kickstarter now. The Kickstarter is doing gangbusters, bro. You've already funded it. You're at 1842 right now, 76 backers. There are 64 hours left of this. It'll end on Friday, July 30th at 12 noon. Now, the Kickstarter is for Nightfall, Michael's Awakening numbers 1 and 2. So this is the first 2 issues of the book that you're putting together for this Kickstarter. How many issues will the book have or the story have? Is it ongoing?
This is actually somewhat of a long series because the way how the story starts is kind of like already in the middle. So there's a lot of things that I kind of wanted to do where it seems like it's almost like the pacing is almost like sped up at points. So there is this Michael's Awakening part, and then there's the prequel of Nightfall where it goes more into the villain, Lucius Vash, and it explains him, and it also explains his mother, why his mother is into the town and how she got to where she's at. It also explains more about her sister, Vivian, who is the character that appears in issue 2. And then from there, it goes back to the current timeline, and it goes a little further out where it talks about Michael and his wife and their child Hope. And in between that, there's also a little side miniseries with Michael's sister Victoria, because at the end of it, she learns a very, very important truth and things that happen to her that kind of changes her, but in a good way though. And she wants to end up kind of learning more about that, and that's where her story, other miniseries, kind of takes off from there.
This is awesome, bro. I'm looking at the Kickstarter page right now. The artwork is incredible, dude. Do you use reference for some of the stuff, or is it like all of the these things?
When it came to Michael, no, I just drew kind of what I wanted to, the way how I kind of wanted to see him. I always saw Michael to be kind of like a kind of a tall guy. You know, I didn't want to have him have any kind of like cool features, I guess, you know, like just as, like I said, I wanted to make this character like just a guy that you would probably see and, you know, talk to, and he's like, oh, that's Michael. Yeah, you know, Michael's cool. That type of thing, you know. None of the characters for this story is really like something outside of the villains. The villains are very recognizable because of the way how they look, especially one of the villains, Lucius Vash's adopted son, Lucian. He has a mask. That mask is very recognizable. It's something that, you know, I felt like no one has really seen in that kind of mask before. It's almost like a werewolf face mask, if you will.
Yeah.
So no, I didn't really have too many references. I would say I had 2 references when it came to creating Melissa, because I wanted Melissa to, you know, kind of be a little sexy, a little hot, you know what I mean? So when you see her, you're like, yeah, all right. You know, so I kind of wanted to do that. That's why I gave her her little signature little tattoo as well, you know, give it a little spice. And I also did it for Vivian. I was looking, because at first I wanted to have her where she kind of had a vow of silence, but I decided to change that because I felt like it would be kind of hard to kind of really dictate that when it's a comic. You know, like you can't really do facial emotions too much, but the people really kind of understanding the reasons why she's doing that. So I had to really change that and decided to change her look because of it, because her look was more rough looking. Like you could tell that she was in battles, and she was still a badass, but you know, she got the battle scars to prove it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So because of that, I decided to, you know, make her a little bit more just kind of take away from all that rugged look and still make her a little ladylike. And I thought that would be a kind of a really cool idea too, because, you know, that's always kind of like the MO, right? You know, like the characters or female characters that are like really good and can fight, they're a little bulky, you know. So I wanted to kind of really take away from that. I wanted it to still look like, you know, she's an older woman, of course, but you know, like she still looks like a beautiful woman, you know. Yeah. So that was kind of one thing I took out of it.
Yeah, no, I'm looking through the images, and you definitely, I mean, they're definitely, I will say they're athletic, right? They're not, like you said, they're not bulky. I mean, listen, when you're the quarterback of a football team, you have to be tall, right? You got to look over that O-line. So you have to be, you know, 6'5". So he is 6'5", which is a pretty tall dude, 6'4", so which is a pretty tall dude. Yeah. But I love the fact that you've added that sense of realism into the story, rather than that it's a comic book, but these guys look like, you know, real people that you could just see walking up and down the street. You know, I do like how you started the book. I see you have some pages. It starts black and white, and then you slowly bring in the color.
Yeah,
that's a nice touch. So talk to me about the thought process behind that in the book.
Again, that was just something, like I said, I just really wanted to show my creativity and like show more of my personality when it comes to just issue 1. And I just kind of really was like, well, you know, what's something new? What's something that you don't really see too much of? And I really was thinking about that, but then at the same time, I was like, okay, well, wouldn't it be nice to tell the story outside of the character? So maybe the viewer is actually really the character for a certain period of time. So that's kind of where I was thinking. And then when I was thinking about like, what can I do that's different? I realized that's the answer, and I was answering my own question. I already had it. So then I was like, okay, well, if I make the people in the story to be the actual character, where they're like kind of like looking at it, so almost like in a first person view, but they're not really talking. They're just watching unravel. So the main reason is really his life. You know, like when you think of normal lives, or you know, the normal mundane lives, you think of black and white, right? But then when you have something, maybe that something extreme happens, something crazy, something that just out of the blue happens to you that drastically changed your whole lifestyle, you can think of that as maybe having like a splash of color.
Gotcha.
So that was kind of where I came with that idea. I thought that would be really kind of cool to see, like a slow transition. And also at the same time, me being a huge werewolf fan, you know, I got tattoos of it and everything. The very first original werewolf Wolfman story was in black and white.
Right.
So that was my homage to that kind of lore. You know what I mean? Like, I always try to keep certain things when it comes to the werewolf, like in lore. You know, I don't try to change too much. But there is one big thing that there is not involved, and that's with the whole silver bullet thing.
Right.
Like that's one thing in the story that is not in the story. But for the most part, you know, the whole transformation with the full moon and but there's a huge difference though, because there is something called a legacy line. And basically, like, a legacy line is a person that is like pure blood, like their whole lineage is likened, and they can change at any point. They don't have to have the full moon. They can turn at any point. They're a little bit stronger than the half-breeds. Half-breeds are ones that can only change during the nightfall. Gotcha. And they're not full blood, so they can be, you know, someone could have turned them, or maybe a person that had a legacy line could turn them, but they're not full blood, so they can't control it like they can a person with a legacy line.
Yeah, no, I like that the color comes in as soon as he gets that headache, like that my body's hurting, and then the color starts coming in. So you gradually make your way into that part of his story, that world that we're about to get into. So I'm really digging these pages, man. I think that this book is gonna do well. I mean, you guys are already doing your thing. Tell us a little bit about some of the pledges and what they can get when they pledge, and what are some of the ones you're most excited about. I know you have something that you're putting together as far as almost like an action figure, not necessarily an action figure.
Yeah, that's something that my friend Lewis, aka Shadow Rabbit, he's a very great clay sculptor. He actually did one of my characters from Salvation. This is the main character. His name is Vaughn. I don't know if you can see it yet. It actually glows in the dark. It's really good. And so I was telling him about, you know, I want to do a Kickstarter, because the one we did before this, it wasn't successful. And, you know, it was really crazy because people were telling me, like, afterwards, they're like, you got a Kickstarter? You got a Kickstarter? I can't tell you how many people sent me messages. And I was like, you didn't. I was literally posting like every day. Like, so I was like, what? So I was like, okay, so maybe it's my Facebook account. Maybe I need to redo my Facebook account. So I created a whole new one, and I just pretty much did what I was doing in the last one, but this one, people started to see it. And
wow.
So, you know, I'm really glad that that worked out that way. I also put a lot more into the Kickstarter as well. You know, I looked at it as almost like an interview.
Right.
So, like, if someone was asking me questions about the Kickstarter, these are the questions that I would have. You know, why am I choosing Kickstarter? Where is the money going? You know, talking about the story and more in depth and stuff like that. And I think that also helped as well, you know, because there's so many people out there that don't know my story, don't know who I am. So I felt like without them having to send me 100 questions through email, that's a good way for me to just answer all of their questions by just scrolling down and really getting a good understanding of the story, and me as well.
Yeah, no, I hear you, my brother. So what are some of the pledges? What are some?
So outside of the Shadow Rabbit sculpture, my favorite is actually that you know, because there are people out there that, you know, they might want to choose sides, right? So they might want to be Team Michael, they might want to be Team Lucius. And, you know, I thought it would be a really cool poster that you can, you know, have on your wall or have on your desktop. And so I would actually draw you side by side with whatever team you decide to be on. So if you like to be on the dark side, you know, you want to be on Team Lucius, then I would draw you alongside Team Lucius. We already have like kind of like the backdrop poster, what that would look like on a Kickstarter, and we'll just simply draw you alongside them, whatever pose you want, you know.
Nice.
The more creative, the more fun I have with the idea of drawing the person, you know. So you have both choices. You have the digital version where we just send you like a PDF version, and then we have the actual version where we send you the actual poster ourselves, and we'll just mail it off to you.
Nice.
That's awesome, man. Listen, you got some really cool stuff. Like for $20, you can get a T-shirt. Like it's really, really, really cool stuff, man. So, nah, this looks great, dude. This looks great.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I wanted to do too. You know, a lot of people were saying, man, that's really low for, you know, you're giving away a lot, you know. And I was like, you know, the goal was, of course, to be funded, but the goal was also to have these comics, you know, in your hand. You know, I wanted people to really understand that that we put a lot of work into the story, and you know, I wanted people to really check it out. It's a really great way to, you know, put your hands out there and reach to more people that don't live in New York City or the tri-state area where we go to conventions and things like that. So that was why, you know, we kind of made the price a little lower, you know. Overall, a lot of people were like, man, it's going to hurt. But I think we're okay. We're okay because we already have a certain amount of comics for Nightfall already. So we already have that kind of ready to just ship out. We don't really have to wait for the printing and all that stuff.
Nice, dude. So everything is done, ready to rock and roll. You just, as soon as this thing ends, it's going out.
You know, this could be somebody's right here. You know, I can send this out tomorrow. You know,
that may be mine, man. That may be mine. I'm definitely gonna pledge to your campaign. And everybody watching, you guys should also pledge to the campaign. You have 64 hours to go. I like how this thing breaks it down by the hour, right? Like when it gets down to the end, it's like 64 hours, and you're like, I gotta get in there. So yeah, it ends on Friday at noon. But if you guys are on there now, and I just saw you just got another backer, my brother. So you got another backer on right now. You're at 77. Yeah, you're
it's crazy because I looked at it earlier before I came, and I was like, oh, okay, it's at 7 something. And then I looked at it again, and I was like, oh, 18.
Yeah.
All right. You know?
It's exciting when that starts happening,
It's always fun, you know. It's always fun. I don't know, like sometimes some of my friends that have done Kickstarters, like, man, you know, I have like this routine, man. You know, like I only look at it every 3 hours. And then, you know, that's how it works. If I go past the 3 hours or go before, then I don't get anybody. It's like, man, all right. Whatever works, man. If that helps you believe it, hey, I'm with it, man.
Whatever works is right, brother. So yeah, so listen, some of this stuff is awesome. For as low as $5, you can get issue 1 signed or issue 2 signed, $5. There's add-ons, right, Dwayne? You have add-ons on this bad boy. So it's a la carte. You want issue 1, issue 2, you want the T-shirt, whatever it is you want. You
also have it sold separately as well, you know. So for those who aren't familiar but don't want to get all the extra fluff, as some people say, you can get issue 1 separately, you can get issue 2 separately, and you know, you can take on from there. If you ever want more merchandise, you can always head to our website where we have even more stuff.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, what is the website, Dwayne?
The website is www.animationcomicsent.com.
Okay, beautiful. We're definitely going to have you back on just to talk a little bit more about your company and your come up and all that other stuff. This was just for your Kickstarter, and you're killing it. I'm glad you're doing well. And there it is. There it is. Oh, that's the other one, Salvation. Nice, my brother.
Issue 1, and then this is issue 0.
Okay. All right. Look at that.
So maybe we could talk a little bit more about
Oh, absolutely, man.
Maybe have my brother come and talk about it himself, and you can stop seeing this ugly face, you know?
Yeah, and we'll get Sam's thing working so you can hear him.
Yeah.
He had I'm sure he had like a million questions. Like,
I'm so sorry, man. I'm so sorry.
But D, thank you so much for coming on, brother. Where can they find you other than the website? What's your social handles?
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook at Dwayne Robinson Jr. The Instagram, even though it is our company page, but you know, you can always contact me there because I am the overseer of it. Animation Comics ENT. The Twitter as well, Anycom, which is ANICOMENT LLC. Yeah, you know, so I'm always on. I'm always willing to talk to people, whether it be about the comics or, you know, having questions about art. You know, I've been asked a few couple questions myself recently since the Kickstarter, and it's always cool, you know, because like I said, I enjoy people asking questions about the story, but I also enjoy about helping others. So that's why we have our group page. Our group page is basically for any other creators, you know, like Sam or anybody else that has a Kickstarter or just wants to promote. They can go to our group page and promote their stuff.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Are you doing any conventions this year?
Yeah, actually, I'm going to Eternal Con. So, I'll be seeing Sam there. Yeah.
All right.
Maybe we can get the questions out then. You know, like, we'll do it live. You know what I mean? We'll do it live.
There you go.
Yo, Dwayne, thank you so much, my man. Thank you for coming on. Hopefully I'll see you soon. I'll meet you somewhere at one of these cons, and we'll do it up, man. Thank you so much for coming on. And guys, pledge. Make sure you get your hands on that book. And we'll talk soon, my brother.
All right, man. Thanks, man.
Peace.
All right, thanks.
Peace. All right, so
that's awesome.
Don't need that. Get out of here. So that was Dwayne. That's his Kickstarter. Links in the bio. Links is also in the chat. Go check it out. We got 4 minutes before we go on with another guest.
Again.
We have Jeff Weber. That's we're going to be logging off of this one. Join us on the YouTube channel, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch for our live Kickstarter interview with Jeff Weber. See you guys soon. I'm Sam the Crazy Man Vera.
George Zuma Medina.
And
Peace.
We are.
It's just easy. It's not.
Crazy. Acquiesce.
No, I was talking about my friend Acquiesce. I met him.
Say my name.
Right?
This is what you were thinking? Oh,
How he described me? He said, I'm the what?
Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. To Catch the Craze. You are listening to Catch the Craze on Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze.